Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special NOTL in quarantine. Not in quarantine in Niagara on the Lake. I'm standing here at one of the major historical sites inside of Niagara. This is the Niagara Apothecaries building. It's currently closed, has been closed for the entire pandemic. And this site here, on it, according to it, was acquired by the Ontario Heritage Foundation in 1969. The Apothecary, a fine example of Confederation-era commercial establishments and pharmacies. Although the building probably dates to the 1820s, it was extensively renovated in 1866 when it was taken over by Apothecary. And at this point, they installed the windows, etc. It closed in 1964. And here we are in beautiful downtown Niagara Lake, and man, we could want it open today. So, good news. We have some amount of vaccine preparations being done. It seems like we now have ones that are past their phase 3 trials. Okay, what does that mean? The majority of vaccines go through what is known as a 3-phase trial system. First phase is basically to make sure that it's not definitely going to kill you. And it's also to see, is it binding to what we think it's binding biologically. Phase 2 is where they start to look at the safety features of the outcome and make sure that it is safe for human consumption. Stage 3 is where they look at efficacy, where you get a big giant group of people together and check it. Now, this is why when it comes to the phase 2 trials, you think, safety, haven't we already done them? And that's part of it, is you usually do the safety trials before you do the efficacy trial, making sure that people are, going to be safe from it. So Moderna, Pfizer, all of these have been through now phase 3, and the Russian Sputnik 5 has finished phase 2. That came out quite a while ago, and The Lancet was published, and is currently going through phase 3, and they're reporting phase 3 is going well. So it looks like we're going to have a vaccine soon. This is where we now get to the next stage, because it's not just having a vaccine. One is informing people of how vaccines work and that, yes, they are effective. And this has been an issue since, Catherine the Great, when she got the smallpox vaccine and had herself inoculated with it in order to show her population what's going on. And they've decided to put on giant Christmas music over here at the Prince of Wales Hotel to prevent me from telling you more. So what happened with this was, with the smallpox vaccine, is a doctor in England actually figured out that dairy maids, didn't get smallpox. And the reason for that is they were handling cows. And cows have a little thing known as cowpox inside of them, which is a cousin of smallpox. It's very, very close to it. And because the maids didn't have this, what they did is actually take small amounts of that and put it into people, like pricking them with it, and gave them the cowpox, and that prevented the smallpox from happening. And this was kind of the first vaccines. And Catherine the Great, wanting to bring this over to her population, brought it over into the... Geez, watch the social distancing, people. So I move out of the way to let them through, and then they decide to turn down the same road. And so they gave them the smallpox vaccine because of that. And Catherine the Great was inoculated along with the then prince at the time in order to show that vaccines were safe and effective. And if you think of when was Catherine the Great, and we're still having this debate and fight. Thank you very much, Andrew Wakefield, you horrible, horrible person. If I had a time machine, that'd be the one person I'd take out. God. So, is it safe? Is it effective? Well, that's what the trials are for. And the great thing about doing science is we publish it and we let people look at it. So you can actually go and read the phase 2 trials, read the phase 1 trials, and read the phase 3 trials on these medications. A lot of them have already been published. So, next question. Beyond the safe and effective, how do we get it out to people? And this is a big problem because there is 3 different types of vaccine. There is right now this RNA stuff where it requires the incredibly cool temperatures. There's also the current one, I think, by the Oxford Zeneca group, Oxford University and AstraZeneca, where it is based on the old technology, so it's building it. Now, you may have also seen there's a few articles that said we were able to build the vaccine in 2 days. And this is relatively true. We were able to build a vaccine. They had the actual creation of these things, but the rest of the time that it's been has all been testing to make sure that it's safe and that it's effective. So you can build something pretty quickly now these days. Biologically, I can build something, I can inject you with it. But all this time that we have been using is mostly just to make sure that it is safe and effective. So this isn't something that, was created in 2 days and then great, have it. This was 2 days to create it and then months and months and months of testing. So what are you going to do? We have to make sure that people understand that this is basically safe and effective, and that's the big worry right now. Because sadly, you know what they call medicine that doesn't work? Not medicine. And usually homeopathy. Now, with all of this, how do we do the distribution? This is where we need the big fridges. This is where we need the movement on it. The Oxford one requires less refrigeration in terms of it. A lot of them require 2 doses. So it might be a while before we see the end to these. In the meantime, if you have the opportunity to get it, please do. Okay. And that's it for this episode of Not in Quarantine.